in good health and are in great mood to listen to what we are going to read today. Sri Ramakrishna had some lay disciples, and Swami Chetanananda's book, They Lived with God, talks about these direct lay disciples. Today we will talk about Kalipada Ghosh. He was one of the disciples of Swami of Thakur of Sri Ramakrishna, and Kalipada Ghosh was a drunkard, and how he transformed Sri Ramakrishna absolutely transformed his life. So let's see how magically he does it. Kalipada Ghosh. Swami Chetanananda ji writes, how does God, who is infinite, embody himself in a finite human form and act as a man? This is truly a mystery. On different occasions and in many ways, Sri Ramakrishna tried to unravel this mystery for his disciples, saying, he who liberates others is an incarnation of God. The incarnation of God accept the help of Maya to fulfill their mission on earth. One can taste devotion and love of God only through his incarnation. Infinite are the ways of God's play, but what I need is love and devotion. I want only milk. The milk comes through the udder of the cow. The incarnation is the udder. When God himself is born as a man, as an incarnation, holding in his hand the keys to others' liberation, then, for the welfare of humanity, the incarnation returns from samadhi to the consciousness of the world. People cannot understand an avatar or incarnation of God because he is unique. His birth, lifestyle, actions, and behavior are divine and therefore impossible to judge from the human standpoint. An avatar's love and compassion for all, the good, the bad, the pious, the sinful, the destitute, and the drunk, keep his mind down from the absolute plane of existence and turn it to the relative existence of the world. In this way, he brings good to humanity like the coming of spring. Without any selfish motive, he helps people to cross the turbulent ocean of Maya. Needless to say, Sri Ramakrishna helped the drunkards and the fallen of the society. Because he did so, some narrow, bigoted religious leaders criticized him for not showing sufficient moral abhorrence towards these people. Kalipada was one of those wayward souls who was saved by the Master. Like Girish, he was an out-and-out bohemian, a debauchee, and a drunkard. Swami Adbhutananda related in his reminiscence how Sri Ramakrishna transformed Kalipada's life. Girish Babu arrived one night with Kalipada Ghosh. This is what Swami Adbhutananda ji writes. Kalipada was a terrible drunkard. He refused to give money to his family, spending it for wine instead. But his wife was very pure. I heard that many years earlier she had come to the master seeking some kind of medicine that would change her husband's tendencies. The master sent her to the Holy Mother. The Holy Mother sent her back to the master. He again sent her to the Holy Mother. And this exchange went on 3 times. At last, the Holy Mother wrote the master's name on a bay leaf that had been offered to the Lord and gave it to Kalipada's wife, telling her to chant the Lord's name. Kalipada's wife chanted the Lord's name for 12 years. When the master first met Kalipada, he remarked, this man has come here after tormenting his wife for 12 years. Kalipada was startled but said nothing. Then the master asked him, "What do you want?" Kalipada asked shamelessly, "Can you give me a little wine?" The master smiled. "Yes, I can. But the wine I have is so intoxicating that you will not be able to bear it." Kalipada took him literally and said, "Is it real British wine? Please give me a little to soak my throat." "No, it's not British wine," said Master, still smiling. "It is completely homemade. This wine cannot be given to you, just anyone, for not everyone can stand it. If a person tastes this wine even once, British wine will seem insipid to him ever after. After you, are you ready to drink my wine instead of the other?" For a moment, Kalipada was thoughtful, and then I heard him say, "Please give me that wine which will make me intoxicated my entire life." The master touched him, and Kalipada started to weep. We tried to calm him, but he went on weeping in spite of our efforts. Kalipada Ghosh was born in 1849 at Shampukur, Calcutta. His father, Guru Prasad Ghosh, was very religious minded and devoted to the Divine Mother Kali. Although Guru Prasad owned a small jute business, it apparently did not bring in sufficient money to keep his family out of financial problems. Therefore, Guru Prasad took Kalipada out of school when the boy was in the 8th grade and got him a job in Messrs. John Dickinson and Company, a British paper firm in Calcutta. Kalipada thus had very little education, but he was intelligent and efficient and was gradually promoted until he held an important position in the company. Kalipada was tall and husky. He had a dark complexion, large eyes, and a bright, cheerful face. He and Girish Ghosh were close friends and often drank together. It was Girish who first took Kalipada to Sri Ramakrishna in 1884. Some of the master's devotees called them Jogai and Madai after two ruffians whose lives had been transformed by Sri Chaitanya. After Kalipada's first meeting with Sri Ramakrishna, he returned home, overwhelmed by the master's words and personality. He felt an irresistible desire to see Sri Ramakrishna. Shortly thereafter, in November 1884, he went by boat from Calcutta to Dakshineshwar. When the master saw Kalipada, he said that he had just been thinking of going to Calcutta. Kalipada told him that his boat was at the landing ghat and that he would be glad to take him there. Sri Ramakrishna immediately got ready and left with Latu Maharaj, that is later Swami Adbhutanandaji, and Kalipada. As they got in the boat, however, Kalipada privately instructed the boatman to stir the boat to the middle of the river. Then Kalipada knelt down and clasped the master's feet, saying, "Sir, you are a savior. Please save my life." "Oh, no, no," said Sri Ramakrishna. "Chant the name of the Lord. You will get liberated." Kalipada then said, "Sir, I am a wicked man and a drunkard. I do not even have the time to chant the Lord's name. You are an ocean of mercy. Kindly save me, such as I am, who is devout of disciples and righteousness. Please do save me." Meanwhile, Kalipada firmly held on to the master's feet. Sri Ramakrishna could find no other way out of this predicament. So he asked Kalipada to stick out his tongue and then wrote a mantra on it. The master said, "Henceforth, your tongue will automatically repeat this mantra." But Kalipada was not happy. He said to the master, "I don't want this." "Then what do you want?" asked Sri Ramakrishna. "When I leave this world," replied Kalipada, "I shall see darkness all around, and that terrible darkness will fill me with horror. My wife, children, and other relatives won't be able to help me then. At that terrible time, you will be my only savior. You will have to take me, holding a light with your left hand and me with your right hand. I shall always be with you then. You will have to fulfill this prayer of mine. With his heart full of compassion, the master said, all right, your prayer will be fulfilled. My goodness, you have brought me to the middle of the Ganges and have created such a scene. When the boat reached Calcutta, Kalipada asked the master where he would like to go. To Kalipada's delight, Sri Ramakrishna expressed a wish to visit his home. Kalipada immediately hired a carriage and took the master there. It is said that there were some oil paintings of gods and goddesses in the room where Sri Ramakrishna sat. Seeing these holy pictures, the master was very happy and sang some songs in ecstasy, creating a wonderful spiritual atmosphere in the house. A few months prior to the master's visit, an interesting incident had occurred. One evening, Kalipada's sister, Mahamaya, looked out of their second floor window and saw a horse carriage passing down Shampukut Street, where their house was located. Inside the carriage was a remarkable looking person. All of a sudden, this person stuck out his head out of the window and called to the driver, "Stop, stop, please stop the carriage here. It seems this is the place." Mahamaya was awed when she saw his radiant face. Immediately, she called the people of the household to see this divine person. But before they could come, he had put his head back inside. The carriage slowly turned down Ramdhan Mitra Lane and disappeared. Mahamaya never forgot that divine sight. When Sri Ramakrishna visited Kalipada's house, Mahamaya immediately recognized him as the person she had seen that evening. Kalipada began to visit the master regularly at Dakshineshwar and gradually became one of his close devotees. He was a good singer and could also play the violin and the flute. He sometimes performed for the master. One day, Sri Ramakrishna heard him playing a flute and went into samadhi. Since Kalipada was an expert cook, the devotees sometimes jokingly called him housewife. Once, when Kalipada was at Dakshineshwar, he went to the Kali temple and started to rebuke the Divine Mother, using very abusive words. His chest turned red and tears rolled down his cheeks. Sri Ramakrishna was also there at that time, and hearing Kalipada's scolding, he left the temple. He did not approve of that attitude. To his disciples who were present, the Master said, "Our attitude towards the Divine Mother should be that of a child towards its mother." The attitude, that is the heroic attitude, is extremely difficult. In September 1885, the doctors advised the devotees to move Sri Ramakrishna to Calcutta for his cancer treatment. So a house was rented for him in Bagh Bazar district. Sri Ramakrishna did not like this house and immediately walked into Balram's house. He stayed there for a week until another house could be found. Meanwhile, the devotees were happy to have him in Calcutta and flocked to him. Swami Shardananda describes the following scene. One afternoon, we went to Balram's house and found the hall that was on the upper floor packed with people. Girish and Kalipada were singing with great zeal, "O Nitai, hold me. Today my heart feels unusual. O Nitai, hold me." Entering the room with great difficulty, we saw that the master was in samadhi, seated at the western end of the room facing east. His face was adorned with an expression of graciousness and a wonderful smile. The room was quiet and a divine atmosphere vibrated throughout. After a few days, Kalipada found a house in Shampukur near his own for the master to stay in. He also furnished the house and decorated the master's room with pictures of God and goddesses, and he brought kitchen utensils and grocery. Again, when he heard that the master had expressed a wish to worship Mother Kali on the night of Kali Puja, he helped many arrangements to be made for the worship. As an offering to the Divine Mother, Kalipada's wife prepared farina pudding, which Sri Ramakrishna later ate as prasad. Sri Ramakrishna was pleased with Kalipada's generous nature and called him manager. Swami Vivekananda sometimes called him Dana Kali or the generous Kali. Dana, however, also means the demon. On 24th October 1885, while staying at the Shampukur house, Sri Ramakrishna explained the mystery of japa to the devotees. Japa means silently repeating God's name in solitude. When you chant his name with single-minded devotion, you can see God's form and realize him. Suppose there is a piece of timber sunk in the water of the Ganges and fastened with a chain to the banks. You proceed link by link, holding to the chain, and you dive into the water and follow the chain. Finally, you are able to reach the timber. In the same way, by repeating God's name, you become absorbed in him and finally realize him. Kalipada listened to the master, but he had already received the boon that his tongue would repeat the mantra effortlessly. He smiled and said to the devotees, "Ours is a grand teacher. We are not asked to practice meditation, austerities, and other disciplines." In 1884, when Sri Ramakrishna went to see Girish Ghosh's drama Chaitanya Leela, he had been extremely pleased with Binodini, the actress who played the part of Chaitanya, and he blessed her. She in turn became very devoted to the master but could not find another opportunity to meet him. Now hearing of his illness, she longed to see him again. However, the master's disciples were very strict about visitors. They feared that if Sri Ramakrishna talked too much or if he was touched by impure people, his disease would be aggravated. In order to see the master, Binodini sought the help from Kalipada, whom she knew through Girish Ghosh. One evening, acting on his advice, she dressed herself as an European gentleman and went with Kalipada to Shampukur house. Introducing her to the disciples as a friend of his, Kalipada took her to the master, who was alone in his room at that time. Sri Ramakrishna laughed when Kalipada told him who this is. This European gentleman, who he really was. After praising Binodini's faith, devotion, and courage, the master gave her some spiritual instructions and allowed her to touch his feet with her forehead. When Binodini and Kalipada had left, Sri Ramakrishna told the disciples about the trick that had been played on them. The master enjoyed it so much that the disciples could not be angry. Sri Ramakrishna moved from the soggy Calcutta environment to the garden house at Kashipur on 11th December 1885. On 23rd December, he touched Kalipada's chest and said, "May your inner spirit be awakened." Then, stroking Kalipada's chin, he said with great affection, "Whoever has sincerely called on God or performed his daily religious devotions will certainly come here. The Master's blessings, unrestrained love that day made Kalipada a new person. He gave up his drinking habit and lost all interest in the world. After the master's passing away, Girish and Kalipado often sat together silently for long periods of time in front of the master's picture. With tearful eyes, they would pray, "Master, please reveal yourself to us." Whenever Navagopal Ghosh celebrated a festival to Ramakrishna, at his house, Girish and Kalipada sang kirtan and danced. Later, as they sat motionless with closed eyes, Navagopal garlanded them and they uttered in ecstasy, "Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna." The devotees were impressed at the transformation in their lives. After Kalipada's passing away, Girish dedicated his drama Shankaracharya to him. In the dedication, he wrote, "Brother, we saw the embodiment of Vedanta together many times in Dakshineshwar. You are now in the abode of bliss, but I am sorry that you could not have seen my drama, Shankaracharya, while you were alive. I dedicate this work to you. Please accept it." Though Kalipada was not a writer and playwright like Girish, he composed many songs. In 1893, these songs were published in a booklet entitled Ramakrishna Sangeet by the Kakurgachi Yogadyan, a retreat house owned by Ramchandra Datta. Kalipada visited Yogadyan quite often because some relics of Sri Ramakrishna had been installed there and regular worship of the master was performed. One day Kalipada came and a large quantity of flowers for worship was brought by him. He did not know that if the flowers were carried while wearing shoes, they could not be used in ritualistic worship. When Manamohan told Kalipada of this, Kalipada immediately left those flowers there for use as decoration and went back to the flower market barefoot to buy more flowers for the offering. It has already been mentioned that Kalipada was very successful in his career. It was due primarily to his efforts that the John Dickinson Company opened many branch offices in the major cities of India. Although it was a British firm, Kalipada took the liberty of hanging pictures of Sri Ramakrishna in each of the branch offices. He totally believed that it was Master's blessings that had transformed his character and brought him prosperity. If there was any vacancy in the office where he worked, he would appoint a devotee of the Master to fill that position. When he moved temporarily to Bombay, Swami Vivekananda, Brahmanand, Turiyanand, Abhedanand, and Akhandanand each stayed at his house at different times while on pilgrimage. It gave him great pleasure to serve the Master's disciples. During Kalipada's last illness, Swami Adbhutananda went to see him at his Calcutta home. Kalipada had been giving him some money every month for milk and other necessities. Swami Adbhutananda asked him to discontinue that help, but Kalipada replied, "Brother, by the grace of the Master, I have no wants. The Master will be angry with me if you deprive me of serving you with a few rupees." Since the Swami did not want to hurt Kalipada's feelings, he accepted the gift until Kalipada's passing away on 28 June 1905. Sri Ramakrishna had pointed thrice in Swami Adbhutananda's presence that at the time of Kalipada's death, he would take him, holding him by his right hand. Just as Kalipada breathed his last, he raised his right hand. Excuse me. Swami Premananda was present at the time. Hearing the news of Kalipada's death from Swami Premananda, Swami Adbhutananda said to some devotees, "Look, the Master came to Kalipada at this last moment." Holding Kalipada's hand, the master guided him away. Brother Baburam saw it clearly. Whatever the master said to anybody is bound to be fulfilled. Hope the master fulfills our wishes also. I'm sure you have all liked the reading. Do stay tuned to Devakshar, like and share our videos, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Do join us again when we come back with another edition of this reading. Namaskar.